Okay, good morning, wonderful people. I'm hoping that you are all well. Today, I need to set this tank up, which is a 350 litre corner tank, as you can see, just with a real basic light in it, bog standard. We are going to be scaping it and setting it up for my Fahaka Puffer Fish, Pee-wee. He has got large enough now that he needs a tank upgrade from his 150 litre. So even though he's quite happy, he's quite boisterous still around there, I feel like he's ready for a tank upgrade, and this time we're going to scape it. Scaping corner tanks isn't the easiest thing in the world to do, but I'm going to give it a go. You've got horrible glare coming from over there, so I will try and sort that out before we get there. And yeah, so I think I've got everything ready. I've got wood and sand and gravel and plants and all of the things ready to be put in. So I'm hoping that I've got everything I need and we don't run across any problems. So the idea is to get this scaped today, fill it up today, move the canister filter onto it, which is running on a separate tank at the moment, just to keep it cycle. So that's already prepped and ready. Yeah, and then obviously once the tank's settled and all up to temp and everything else, then it will be moving him into this tank. So I'm going to start doing that. So let me go and get my ladder, because I'm sitting down at the moment on my stool, and obviously I'm short, so I need my steps, my trusty steps. So let me go and get that, and I will be right back, and we will put in the hardscape first, and then yeah, we will go for it as it is. Okay, right, I think I've sorted out the glare as much as I can. There's not much else I can do, I'm sorry. You're going to get glare from this, because obviously the lights are on. So you have to see past this, people. Right. Okay, so I've got my ladders, trusty ladders. I have my hardscape down there. So I think the first thing we need to do, or the first thing I'm going to do, is what I always start with, which is the hardscape. So I understand there's nothing at the bottom of this tank, but I always start with the hardscape first, and then we'll move forward from that. So what I do have, there's a piece of wood that I want at the back, that I want elevated. So to cut down on the amount of sand, gravel and things like that you're going to use, I've got a net bag here, and I've placed in some alpha grog, some small pieces of alpha grog, and I'm going to use that at the back just to elevate this other piece of wood that I want, just to give it that foreground and background element to it. So I'll pop that up there for now, and we're going to get my ladders out. I'm going to try not to get in the way of you at the same time as obviously trying to do what I need to do. So I told you I'm short. For those of you that have met me, you know I am. Okay, so I'm just going to pop this in. I'm going to try and hide the rest of the spare net underneath it, flatten it out a little bit. Okay, right, now let's get my other piece of wood. Now obviously I have checked that things are going to work in here. So what I've done obviously is I have this piece of wood here. This is the part I want to elevate at the back. Now I don't want it touching the glass, and I want to obviously be able to get behind there to put plants and things like that in. So what I've done is pre-hempting this. I've actually stuck a wooden stick to the back, which will help it, and it did work overnight, so it'll be fine, just to prop it as well. So hopefully this will just repeat what I've done and what my forethought would be. I have a vision, you see, I have a vision of what I want, she says. So yeah, it should look something like that, even though I'm not happy now with the placement of that bag. So, excuse me, what? I'll just turn that slightly. I don't feel like the wood is sitting on the bag properly. That's better. Okay, see, so that's nice and solid. You're going to do tap test, look. That's not moving. That is secured. Okay, so let me stick the other couple in. I've got a few pieces that I definitely know I want in. I don't know whether I'm going to add any more. So let me stick those on, and then we'll take a look and see what I do next. Okay, so excuse the glass. You don't see those little bits on it once it's filled up, I promise. This is a very old tank. I've had this tank for many moons, bless it. So this is what this is what I'm gonna go for. I like the fact that the piece of wood at the back is elevated and up. Put some stem plants behind there, and then obviously this one's at the angle going that way, and then this one's obviously going off at an angle in that direction as well, where that one is obviously straight up. So I think I'm happy with that. So what I am going to do now is obviously this piece of wood here where the rock is just popping it up slightly, I'm going to just glue that down to make that secure, where this one is obviously balancing on that rock as well. I'm just going to glue that and make sure that that's secure, so then we can do tap test on that. So let me just get that done and make sure everything's secure and nothing's going to move, and then we'll go on to the next stage. Okay, so there we go. I've got the rock stuck down. Now obviously they're still a little bit tacky, so I'm going to be very careful and try not to bash them as much as possible. So just while they set. Now I am using a safe fish tank super glue for them, so we don't need to worry about that. If anyone does, it's not a problem. It's not just your regular super glue, it's a special one that's made for aquatic life, so we're absolutely good on that. So what I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to start putting in the hardscape and the rest of the gravel. So what I'm going to do is I've got a coarser gravel type that I'm going to use as a base more towards the back, just to bring that up again so you can't see the bag in the background. We're just going to pile it all up around there. It'll also give me a good depth for the plants that I want to put in as well. So let me just get on with that. Yeah, and then we'll move on to the next part, and then I'll show you as we go along what's happening. Okay, so now as you can see, what I've done is I've built up the back quite a bit, so now you can no longer see the alpha grog bag underneath that piece of wood. That's going to give me somewhere to put the sand down. So basically I'm not using as much sand. It's also going to give a good footing for the plants that I'm going to be putting in as well. So yeah, so all I'm going to do is just push that back a little bit, clean it all up, and then we'll get on to putting in the sand. Okay, so as you can see, I've now pushed all the gravel back up, banked it as I wanted it. Is it going to move? Yeah, probably, but there is now going to be a sand cap going on it, so it should keep its place a little bit more as it's underneath. Obviously, peewee he doesn't sift through gravel or anything like that. He can shake into the sand a little bit and bury himself, but this is why I'm leaving that big space at the front for him to do that in, and he should be absolutely fine. So let's start putting in the sand. Okay, so this is what we have as it stands. So that's the sanding, obviously the gravel bedding, and then the sanding. So I'm not going for anything, you know, it's not like I want things dead flat and in certain angles and whatever else. I just want it to look more natural. So that's what we've got so far. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is put in some more hardscape, which is going to be like some pebbles and some bits like that. Now sometimes I do put that in before the sand. This time round though, I am doing it after because I wanted to make sure I had enough sand. If anyone wanted to know, that was a full black bucket of sand that just went in. So yeah, it's a big tank, means big scape, means lots of bits. So I'm just hoping I've got enough already prepped. Obviously all of this has been reused before. Obviously the gravel's wet because I gave it a very good clean. So I'm hoping the wood won't float. Obviously they're stuck down with rock. Doesn't mean to say though I haven't had it float up before, but it's all wood that's been soaked in tanks beforehand and they've not spent that long out of them. So hopefully we should be good. So let me just go and get some of my detailed rocks to place in now. Okay, so that's the rocks that I've placed in. Now obviously in a minute I will show you a little bit more in detail, but what I do have here is some more rounder gravel, just a natural mix of it. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, preferably without throwing it all over the place, I'm just going to scatter it in. Now I understand that you're probably sitting there thinking, oh my god, that looks so messy, but give it time. It worked before for me. Again, is Pee-wee going to move all this? Yep, absolutely. But, or should I say probably? Yes, he's probably going to shift it all. Am I concerned? No. At the end of the day, I can make him something that looks lovely, but if he decides he's going to move it, he's going to move it. So at the end of the day, you know, I enjoy this part, but if he decides to change it, then he decides to change it, doesn't he? So it's his home. I'm not concerned. But yeah, the idea is just to scatter it about, just so it just adds that little bit more natural. This is obviously, like I said, this is different gravel to what I was using earlier. And I'm not being very precise with it, I'm just sort of chopping it. As you can see, we're not worried. So, yeah, I'm going to carry on with this because I can I can tinker like this for ages, and then I'll get back to you in a moment. Okay, so that is what it looks like now with the gravelling. I'm going to try and show you a little bit closer of what's going on. So now I'm quite happy with that. That's not a problem. Yep, I'm quite happy with that. I said, I mean, you never see a riverbed or anything where it's just sand, do you? So I'm quite happy with that. To you lot at the moment, it probably looks messy and you're probably thinking, why have you done that? When you've put a gravel bed down and then topped it with sand and then you've just put more gravel down. Yeah, this is more decorative gravel, if you like. It's more round or more pebbly, which matches the sort of river stones and cobbles that I was going with. So yeah, but it's okay. We've got more to go in here yet. It's not a problem. What I do need to do is start prepping the plants now. So I'm going to go and do that, and I will be back with you shortly once the plants are prepped. And yeah, we've started to put them in. Right, so that is my first lot of plants selected out and prepped, ready to go. So what I'm going to do now is obviously start putting them in. So obviously some of these are ones that can be glued on to hardscapes, they're epiphytes, others are root plants. So we're going to start, I think, with the root plants and start getting those in. So obviously I want the taller ones at the back and the bigger ones at the front. So let me just move my tray. I have props on top of the tank. Oh dear. There we go. Right, so we've got this nice little crinkled leaf one right here. Look, I'm hoping that you can see that. So I want this one probably around here. So I'm going to get hold of my tongs. And I'm just going to give them a good purchase into that substrate down here. Obviously these are fairly big root systems on these, so just want to make sure that they're in where they should be. So now that's dug down. Now look at how I want it to go. I apologise, it's probably a little bit crackly for you. Pop it in there. Like that. There we go, that should be good. Now underneath each plant I'm going to be sticking in a nutrient stick. These ones that I've got are from Tetra. So there's lots of different makes out there. I'm just going to be sticking in a few of these because obviously I've not put any nutrient substrate into the gravel itself. So we're just going to stick a few of those in around it. So they're not very big sticks at all. So I'm just going to stick 2 or 3 around, just so then the plant's got something to feed off of straight away. And peewee is not going to bother with that whatsoever. Like I said, he's not a substrate digger. He will probably move a bit about as he's off around his tank, but nothing too damaging. Right, there goes the bird. Lovely. Okay, I'm going to go. So these are all crips, sorry, that I'm putting in. I may have already said that, I may not have. So these are all crypts, lower base plants. They're slow growing plants, low light plants. So nothing too heavy, too fast growing. Nothing that's going to need too much light or anything like that. So just going to lift that up just a tad. There we go. And again, just going to put round some little nutrient sticks around it. Give it a bit of a boost straight away. Okay, so I'm going to carry on with that then, and then I will pop back to you once I've got all of the root plants in. Right, so that is all the crypts that I have selected in. I do like my crypts, so it's mainly going to be a crypt tank if I'm being honest. Okay, next I have a little bit of buse. These are the plants, the epiphytes that are going to go onto the wood and rocks and things. So I've got some moss, some buse, and some anubias to go on. So these are the ones, like I said, that need to be stuck down. What I'm trying to find is where one has put one's glue. There it is. Okay, so let's start with the buse first. So I'm thinking about this here. I just had a little bit of buse coming out of this corner. I think that would look quite nice. Now I do have some buse left over from one of my other projects. They are only little tiny sprigs as well, so I'm going to have to be pretty careful to get these on properly. Here's one little bit. And 2 little bits. Sorry guys, I will be with you momentarily. Okay, and there's another bit. So, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get hold of our glue. Hopefully it's not sealed itself shut. I've already glued my fingers today in several places, so we're just going to put a good double bit in this corner right here. And we're just going to gently pop our buse in and on. Now obviously at the moment it doesn't look a lot, but it will. It will in time. I think when you're doing it with plants, you know, most of the time it's going to take time for the plants to sort of perk up from the move and from the unpotting and everything else. So just probably give it a little bit of time. So yeah, you're probably not going to be able to see that very well from where you are, but I can. So, and then we've got this little sprig here of Nubius, of which I think I'm going to just put. Now I had somewhere for this to go, but I am sort of thinking now against it, if I'm being honest. This is what I mean, so you can have all the faults in the world, but then when it actually comes to it, it's the case that it doesn't look right once you're going for it. So what I'm going to do now instead is I'm going to go for the moss. So I want to put a little bit of moss over this part, down here and across here. I feel like I've got glue on my hands, I can feel it. So we're just going to separate these out into little sections. Try not to get anything too stuck together. Like I said, so I'm just going to put it down here. said now moss will spread, it will grow. So just gently tap that down like so. And then I said about a bit back here, I think, as well. Now, like I said, with this glue, it reacts quicker to water. So because obviously the moss has been in water, you get the reaction a lot quicker. And you will also get your fingers stuck together if you are not getting, which I do quite often when I'm doing this, not in real life. But we don't worry about such things, it's just a bit of glue. That bit there. Well, that's a nice grease. This bit's been growing out of water, it's popped out the top, so it's a slightly different colour. It's okay, it will convert again. Do I have any more in there? Nope. Super. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Like I said, I can't find anywhere really now for the Nubius to go. So I'm not going to bother. I'm going to leave it. What I do need to do though, and when you are doing this, because obviously there is no water in this tank, let me just stick my lid back on my glue, because it's going to go everywhere, is to spray it down. So I have a wonderful pump spray bottle here, and I'm just going to give it a spray down. Just while I sort of have a look to make sure there's nothing I want to move, nothing I want to shift about, and then it will basically be putting some water in it is the next step. So yeah, you want to keep these nice and moist just while this is happening. There we go. Right, so let me just grab you and then you can have a closer look. Right, so there we go. There is a closer look of the tank. That's happening here. Like I said, this will all look slightly different. I don't know whether you can see the one there that I put in. A little bits of moss, not anything too much. Can you see now how it starts to come to life a little bit? This is the good bits. Having the vision, putting it together, making it a reality. But we are not finished. Like I said, let's now fill it up at least halfway, and then I can get the stem plants in because they are much easier to put in with water in the tank. So let me go and get my hose pipe and my pump, and let's start putting some water in her. Okay, so there we go. There is the finished product. Took me slightly longer than I assumed because I had to go and deal with something else during the fill up and whatever else. So I have planted the vow in the back there, which you can't really see at the moment. Obviously the water is hazy. This is obviously brand new substrate. Everything's got stirred up a little bit as it's gone in, fresh water, the lot. So canister is all hooked up, heater is on, all that is hidden at the back there behind that piece of wood that at the moment you can't see. But like I said, give it 24 hours and that will all be nice and clear, which I'm going to do anyway, and allow the tank to settle. Make sure that nothing comes loose. Make sure no bits of wood drift away, nothing's moved yet. So we'll go over it again. Basically, I've got balancing area in the back there, which looks like the grass. Everything else is different style of crypts, including this one over here. And then we've got some moss dotted about over there. I did put in a little bit more over here just to hide that part up, and a bit more there as well. So that is it for now, and we will come back to it tomorrow and see what it looks like. It's possible it might need a water change again, just to take out that murkiness, but also possibly not. So we'll see how it settles, we'll see how everything is. Like I said, the sand, everything else has been out of systems for ages. The wood's been out of the systems for a while, so we will wait and see what happens and see whether or not it clears up naturally on its own with the canister, which it should do. All the polishing pads are in there, so it should do fine. And as you can see, there is some particulate matter in the water column. So I will get back to you tomorrow and we will see how this looks, and hopefully it's cleared up. Okay, so it's the next day, the tank is cleared, we're looking good. Pee-wee, my Fahaka Puffer Fish, has been acclimating in this tub. He's obviously not very happy about it, so I've kept the acclimation down to as low as I can. The temperatures between the tanks, in all fairness, were the same. But there's a difference why he's in a tub compared to in a net when you're moving the fish, obviously. You can't lift puffer fish, or it's not suggested, it's not wise, to lift puffer fish out with a net, because if they decide to puff up and inflate out of the water, they can have difficulties deflating. So they've taken in too much air. So it's better and suggested heavily to move them in a tub like this. Now, I would have preferred a deeper tub than this, because obviously, as you can see, Pee-wee has got quite large. But unfortunately, I couldn't get the larger tub between the top of the tank and the racking system. So, hence why he needed to move out. So, I'm going to try and catch this as much as possible on camera of me releasing him, but obviously, you know, I'm dealing with a tub and everything else, so we will see how we go. So just bear with me while I adjust the camera slightly. Okay, so very quick adjustment there for you. Right, let's let Pee-wee into his new home. Now, as per usual, butt first, eh, Pee-wee? You going to do butt first? You can be free. He says, I'm not sure. There we go. You have a little look, dude. What do you think of that? You can't... Really? Okay. Come on. Do you ever do anything gracefully? Oh, well done. There we go. So there is Pee-wee in his new tank. You can see what I mean by how large he's got. I should have bleeding measured him, shouldn't I? Maybe if I grab the tape measure quick while he's up against the glass, what do we think? Shall I give it a go? Bet you if I went to go and do that, he'd move. Let's see if I can. Okay, let's see if I can sneak this up against him. So we are looking at around 20 cm. Yep, around 20 cm, give or take a little bit. So, sorry, wobbly camera. Yeah, now obviously he's down there because he doesn't know what's going on. You know, he's in his new tank, but he looks good. So yeah, so we will let Pee-wee settle in and find out where his corners are going to be. I've left him quite a few little holes so he can go places. What do you think? I must say this is definitely your flattering side. Over here a little bit. There we go. That's better. I can see you. So yeah, around 20 cm, maybe just over, but I don't know how quick I was moving the ruler towards him. So, because I don't want to spook him, even though he is quite reactive. He's like an underwater puppy dog, aren't you? Yes. Right, so we will leave Pee-wee to settle in for the evening. And so yeah, there we go. Pee-wee's new tank. Right, so then, there we go. Pee-wee is in. He's sitting in this corner over here, look. Keeping a very watchful eye on me. He's had a little bit of an explore about, already flicked some stones around to make it his own, which he will do, and that is absolutely fine by me. So he will redecorate it as he sees fit. I've got an odd leaf popping about around now I'm going to have to take out, that's going to aggravate me. Yeah, so the only thing I did do off of camera is I added my pothos plant into the back, which is draping over there, and I put my little succulents plant that I was given up there. So yeah, I'll hopefully get some footage of him when he's moving around his tank a little bit more and he's feeling a little bit more settled, but that can take some time with puffer fish and with Pee-wee. He has a tendency to sulk. So we will see how he gets on. He's a big sulker, aren't you? I'm just hitting the eyeballs. He'll be fine. So for now, wonderful people, I am going to love you and leave you, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.